Now we're going to get to the doctor part. Before I went, hold on. Let me get ready. Before I went, this is a new doctor. This is the endocrine. Y'all know I get tongue-tied on that every time. Endocrinologist. I Google every new doctor I go to because I want to know. I like to see what they look like so I know, who I'm expecting. And then I like to read reviews. I like to see what other people say about them, just to get a feel. Well, he had some good reviews, some really good reviews, but he had some bad reviews, and they were bad. So I went nervous. I was nervous. I did not go in with an attitude. I just went in expecting the worst. Because y'all know I'm a pessimist, so I expect the worst is what I do. Because if you expect the worst, when you get it, you're not surprised. So I was just like, okay. I was worried, is he going to make me feel 2 feet tall, Well, he came in just as pleasant as you'd want a doctor to ever be. And of course we had our mask on, so I told him, I said, I'm smiling at you behind my mask. Well, he sat down and introduced himself and all this and that, asked me, what was my concerns. We will address your concerns. Anything you need to find out, he says, if it's in my area, he said, we'll discuss it. He said, if it's not, I'll let you know. So he wanted to know all my symptoms. Well, before we got to that, the first thing I said was my weight. And I showed him my, I printed out my it's not a chart, my list in my journal. I printed out ever since I started over 2 years ago. I printed out the whole thing, copied it for him. And he was looking, he goes, yes, big numbers, big numbers. Well, he did something I've never had a doctor do. Whenever you, well, at least with my system, when you leave, they give you that printout, and the printout has all your vital information, the medicine you take, and if they change medicines, they have that, but then it has a whole bunch of generic stuff that is printed on everybody's. Well, he pulled that up in my chart, and as he talked, he typed, and he erased stuff that had nothing to do with me. He erased it right there as we talked. So, as he would do these things, he would type them. Well, when I said wait, he started typing. He upped my thyroid medicine, and my primary care, the one that retired, I had told her that I had been doing some research, and that even though your thyroid is normal on the chart, that does not mean it is high enough for you. Your normal might need to be higher. I said, so I would like to try a higher dose. She said, this is word for word. Well, I don't think and she typed it in my chart. Well, I don't think it'll do any good, but I'll give you this. So she upped it a hair in relative to that. He upped it a ponytail. So he did that without even discussing it. I mean, that's his area of expertise, is your endocrine system. So he upped that. He upped my diabetes medicine, and he put me on a new medicine. This medicine, and let me just tell you right now, what I'm telling you is probably not going in, well, I'm sure it's not going in order of how we discussed it. If I look at my notes, and I didn't even look at them, it's going to go in the order of when I remember stuff. So he put me on a new medicine that will take the sugar out of your fat cells and take it out through your urine. He said it will take out 400 calories of sugar a day. Well, calories is what we talked about a lot. He asked me, how many calories are you eating? I said, I don't know. Because I told him I was on Weight Watchers. I said, I don't know. They count points. He looked at me. He goes, so you don't know how many calories you're eating? I said, no. He said, losing weight. He got a piece of paper and he was like doodling on it when he was talking to me. You know, over here is the calories you put in. Over here is the calories you put out. The calories in has to be less than the calories out. He said, you do not have to exercise. And this is before he found out that I don't and cannot. He said, you do not have to exercise. He said, it does not mean putting it out from exercise. He said, it just matters that what you put in is less. Meaning, if you cannot exercise to burn calories, you eat less. Ding, 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 you know. Well, he pulled up on the computer screen. He said, you can go home. He said, you can pull up. There's all kind of these calculators here. You can pull them up. So he just pulled one up. Put in my weight and my height and my activity level, which was sedentary, pretty much none. It showed how many calories to maintain where I'm at, how many to lose a half a pound, how many to lose a pound, and how many to lose 2 pounds a week. So he showed me, he went between 1 and 2. He goes, between those calories, that's where you need to stay. He said, you can still count your points, but I want you to count your calories first. So for my weight and height and activity, I can go is a little over 2,000 calories to lose a pound a week and a little over 1,500 to lose 2 pounds a week. So I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to shoot for 18. He said, whatever you do, if it's ain't working, then just, drop them. So I'm not going to drop it to begin with. I gotta ease into it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how. I got a feeling though, because I have double tracked. I got a feeling that 1,800 calories is more than my points, not counting the weeklies. If you factor in the weeklies, it probably evens out if you do the weeklies every day. So I don't know how I'm gonna do it, because y'all know tracking is my nemesis. I suck at tracking. If I double track, oh my Lord have mercy. He said, just go and get your app on your phone. I got my Fitness Pal, because I did that before when I did keto. I tried to lose it and my Fitness Pal. I got lose it back the first time and I just didn't like it. So I went back to my Fitness Pal, and I'm not going to pay for it because it has gone up. And I don't need all that, the macros and all that. I'm not into all that. I just want my calories and the ability to put in a recipe to get the calories of the recipe, which I can do that. Hold on, he's gonna make a lot of noise. Okay, he had a them like concrete turners or whatever you call it. I can't think what you call it, on a little not even, it's just on wheels on the back of his truck. He was turning around in my front road. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm gonna use my Fitness Pal. Well, I wish it would do both. I wish the WW app would do both. I wish it does give you the calories for ingredients. So if I put a chicken breast, 4 ounces in that I ate, it's going to give me the calories. But if I build a recipe, it's not going to put all that together and give me calories for the recipe. So I wish they had that as a option, and maybe one day. But since he wants me to do that, I'm going to follow his protocol to make sure his protocol is working like he wants it to make sure I'm not doing something to, I want to do it to make sure the medicines he's giving me and the medicines that he's changing are working in tandem with how he wants me to eat. So I'm going to do that, and I'm still going to count points because I do want to know. I want to know, and I will report to y'all and let y'all know the difference between the two. Because I think it's good to know. Y'all know sometimes you can eat too little, just as good as you can eat too much. Now, speaking of that, he did tell me, he goes, some people say that being overweight is all from what you eat. He said, it is not. He shook his head. It is not. So he's not one of those. He says it's calories in, calories out, which it is. He said, but that does not mean you are overeating. Well, that brings me to, let's see, I told you about the medicine that takes out the sugar. Oh, yeah, the fasting blood sugar, which is considered, he said fasting, meaning 2 to 3 hours after a meal. Well, he wants me to only check it 4 times a week. He said that's plenty to see where your numbers lie, to keep a track. So I'm like, thank you. This 2 times a day was getting on my nerves. My fingers hurt. I'm a baby. I am a big baby wimp. Well, before breakfast, it should be between 80 and 130. He said ideally around 100. 2 to 3 hours after a meal, it should be less than 140. Well, they checked mine when I got there, so they checked my blood sugar and my A1C. My blood sugar was pretty high, and he said, how long has it been since you had your meal, had your lunch? I said it was 2 hours. I hadn't ate 2 hours, and what I ate was a pimento cheese sandwich and one of my little Pringles, because I like potato chips on my pimento cheese sandwich, and that's my homemade light pimento cheese. It was not store-bought fattening pimento cheese, and it was my bread with the crust pulled off. So as far as the lunch goes, it wasn't that bad, I didn't think. Well, here's the kicker. He said, when your sugar is that high 2 to 3 hours after a meal, he said you had too many carbs. He said because it's still in your fat cells. He said the carbs you eat give you the energy. When you expend the energy, the sugar goes away. When you don't expend enough energy, that sugar remains in your fat cells. That's where the blood sugar comes in. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. He said, so go low carb. If you're finding out that your sugars are too high after the meal, then cut your carbs. Cut them down. He didn't say cut them out. Lower them. So I thought, well, you know what? The breads was carbs. The potato chips was carbs. I don't know about the cheese and the mayonnaise. I don't think there's no carbs in that. So that's part of, if I'm not mistaken, insulin resistance. And he was typing that up there too. He was typing something else about how my face and I can't even remember what it was called, but I was watching him type as a diagnosis. I might have to look that up, see if that's on my paper. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, that was the blood sugar. Oh, and he's giving me a 24-hour urine test. So for 24 hours, I have to pee in a, he said, this is what he told me. He said, for 24 hours, you have to pee in a container. Like, how big is this container? Because I pee a lot. He was laughing. He's like, well, you tell them in the lab, they'll give you how many ever you need. So the LabCorp, you know, I'm sure y'all know them. They do like all the blood work and everything, you know, around here. they were in the same building. So I went down there. They had sent my orders. I went down there to get my supplies. And the little girl called my name. And I went up there. I said, how big are these containers? Because I pee a lot. She said, they're pretty big. She goes, hold on, I'll show you. She brought out a gas can. I wish I had it. I'd show it to you. I swear to you, it looks just like something you would go get some gas in for the lawnmower. It's red too. And it's got the handle and everything. It's about like that big. I'm like, oh, that'll be plenty. That'll be plenty. And she shoved it down in this, and a hat. Y'all ladies know what a hat is. If you don't, let me give you this little piece of advice. When you go to give them a urine sample and they give you that little cup, just tell them you want a hat. That is the little thing that you set under the seat. You pee into that, and then it pours into the cup. Trust me, it is the only way to go if you are a female and you do not have good aim, which I don't even know how anybody does. So anyway, I didn't have to ask for it. I was going to, but she already had it in there, right? Because no way you can pee in a gas can. Well, she shoved it. She already had the hat down in there. Then she started shoving the jug in there. I even had to hold the bag up and roll. It was a big, long plastic bag with the word lab on it, clear as day. I told her, I said, y'all can use something that ain't clear. She goes, right? She goes, hide it behind your, because I had my purse, my big purse. I didn't have my little, I had my big purse. And I had my medicine bag, because, you know, they'll say bring your medicine to new appointments and they never look at it. But I'm afraid if I don't take it, then they'll want it. Well, they did look at it. They went through the medicine. Anyway, I had that. She goes, well, put it behind that. I said, yes. I said, y'all give me this big gas can. Walk out here with it. She said, she was a young girl. She goes, that's what it looks like. She said, oh my God. And she's dying laughing. We are so loud. She might have gotten in trouble after I left. I don't know. We were loud. She's like, that's exactly what it looks like. I said, maybe people think I'm just filling up the lawnmower. But y'all know I don't care. Everybody got to pee. That ain't no hush hush. Ooh, she's gonna pee. I think we get tore up about stuff that is ridiculous. We all got these bodies that do all these things, so big whoop-de-doo. So anyway, now I was going to tell you what they're checking with that is my cortisol level, which tests the overactivity of an adrenal gland. If there's too much cortisol, then it tells him my adrenal gland is overworked. So that's, not a good thing. And my creatinine, which I'm not sure what that means. I didn't even look it up. Let me go to the page 2. Oh, yes. He told me, because we were talking about the thyroid. He goes, there's 3 hormones that run your body, I guess to say. He said there's the thyroid, the adrenal, and the female. He said during one of our conversations after I had given him my list, he's like, the thyroid I'm working on, the adrenal, he says, and he turned around and looked at me, he goes, I don't have anything for the female. I'm like, oh, come on. Pull something out of your bag of tricks. But when he was first telling me about how, and I don't remember how he said sugar affects, diabetes affects being tired. But he was explaining it to me. He said, you'll be really, really tired. And I got my list. I had laid it up on the counter there, and I got my list, and I held it up, and I pointed, and he just went, like that. I'm like, yep, there you go. So the those are the three hormone systems, I guess you could call, is what I call them, for lack of medical words. So those are the things that he's checking. Well, when I gave him my list of things that are aggravating to me, all these symptoms that I have told y'all that put together have to mean something. They have to. When instead of telling him, I said, well, here's my list. He just checked off with his finger. He said, okay, weight, thyroid, fatigue, thyroid, dry skin, thyroid, hair loss, thyroid. We got the facial hair. He goes, okay, facial hair is not what I do. He said, that is your female hormones. I wish I could remember exactly how he put it, but when he explained it, I literally said, oh, okay, I got you. It has to do with being overweight and your fat cells. I kid you not. I kid you not. That is why a lot of us overweight women have facial hair. Listen, if you got a HD TV, y'all probably can tell where I try to corral it, keep it under control. It is, now that is humiliating. A woman with facial hair is humiliating. I am not in the circus, and that's what I feel like. I feel like a circus freak. Y'all know I don't care what people think, but I do care about having facial hair. I really do. I'm getting more hair on my chin than I've got on my head. It's falling out of there. Now, that is what's happening. It ain't falling out. It's sucking down through my brain and coming out of my chin. Oh, my Lord. I look like such a doofus to you. Anyway, what was I saying? How he explained something, how your sugar, it's fat, it does something in the fat cells that turns into testosterone. Oh Lord, that boy down the street to ride his bicycle everywhere, he going to end. Oh, there's Blair's alarm. Oh. So the facial hair, whatever your sugar does, it does something in your fat cells, and I'm not going to say it turns the estrogen into testosterone. It just creates testosterone. He said that's where this comes from. Well, I didn't tell him, but I was thinking when I got home, I was thinking about that. I'm like, that makes sense. Because I used to be so naive and so not like I am now. I was not outspoken. Y'all know me. I told you in college I would not stand up and give no speech. I would not talk back. I would let people run over me, the whole 9 yards. Well, I got to thinking, when I had RJ is when I started getting kind of sassy. That's when I started gaining my weight. And over the years, I have got more and more manly. So, maybe that's it. Maybe I got the testosterone of a man. That's why I act like a man, and I'm not girly. It makes perfect sense. Maybe when I lose this weight, I'll turn girly. I'll start wearing ribbons in my hair. Not. Oh, I think this is the last. Let me check my notes. I think this might be the last thing he talked about. Well, we talked about a whole lot more, but these are like the high things. Now, this is, he asked me, did I get yeast infections? And I thought it was kind of funny, but he said if I do, let him know, he'll give me something for it. Girls, and this ain't nothing to be embarrassed about neither. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Quit being embarrassed about your body. If you got things wrong with it, tell your doctor. I got some embarrassing things going on that I'm having to go to the doctor about. And do I want to? No. But guess what? It's just a part of life. That's how our bodies work. And our bodies do these freaky, weird things. So, if you have high blood sugar, you have sugar in your system, more sugar than you should have, you are prone to yeast infections. Think about it. When you make bread, yeast feeds on sugar. Boing. Mind blown. Well, so I'm telling you that to tell you this. If you do get recurring yeast infections, perhaps you should go get your blood sugar checked, because that could be an underlying issue, and you think it ain't no hygiene. No, Lord have mercy, it ain't no hygiene problem. It's just a thing. Babies get yeast infections. They get yeast infections in their mouth. Do the research. So if you do get recurring yeast infections, go get your blood sugar checked. You might have diabetes and don't know it. And especially if you're not somebody that goes to the doctor regularly, you can have diabetes and not even know it. And that is dangerous. You need to know it, and you need to get it taken care of. So that's like PSA number how many in this conversation? I think that's all. I think this has probably been way yonder longer than anybody wanted to see, but guess what? It is. Okay, I will talk to you probably Thursday for my weigh-in. Could go either way. I was up the other day, and I hadn't weighed since, what is today, Tuesday? I don't think I've weighed since Saturday or Sunday. I quit that weighing every day. I just got to where I'm just like, forget it. I don't care. The scales, they're not giving me an accurate picture of things. I'm anxious to see if these medicines and counting calories, if it keeps it where it should be, if that works together and starts things moving. I'm anxious to see. Oh, he did say to come back in 4 months, so I don't go back till 4 months, because he said that gives plenty of time for the medicine to get in my system. My phone is full. I just got to notice. Gotta go.